You know what? I'm gonna congratulatory. Give the Flyers a round of applause. A round of applause. Because you know why? That is the first time I've seen that happen. That is the complete first time I've seen that happen. It's laughable. It's sad. It's frustrating. It's pissing me off. It's absolutely frustrating. How do you allow three penalties at the end of the game? Not allow, actually. Take three penalties. Nicholas Aubé-Kubel, Kevin Hayes, Scott Laughton. Especially Scott Laughton. What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Stupidity. And this, honestly, they had to lose like this, in my opinion. They did. Because 4-game winning streak, you played sloppy against the Devils and you won. Because you know why? Surprise, surprise, the Devils suck. They do. You played like that against the Islanders, you got away with it, you won 2 games in overtime. You can't do this against Boston. You can't do this against the Capitals. Because you know why? These two teams are actually good contenders and can qualify and compete for the cup. These teams are going to read off your mistakes. They're going to take advantage of your mistakes. And what did we do? We took 3 damn penalties at the end of the game! Because of what happened at the end. I can't take any positives from this game. Because 1, you blew another 2-goal lead. You allowed 3 penalties at the end of the game. And oh my, the Scott Laughton one just pisses me off even more. Because who the fuck does he think he is? Taking an interference penalty, an obvious interference penalty, at the 7-second mark. Which allows Boston to go on the power play. And oh yeah, congrats to the penalty kill for actually stepping up there. Yeah, they almost killed it off at the end. They had chances to score on the empty net too. Well, they didn't do it. They didn't win the face-off, and they allowed Boston to score. Yeah. Yeah, that happened. And then, the stupid Scott Laughton penalty allowed Bergeron to score seconds into overtime. So, clap to the penalty kill, and clap to the idiot who took the penalty. I can't take any positives away from this game because, 1, the start was atrocious. Boston was flying everywhere on the ice. The Flyers looked lost. They couldn't complete any type of pass. They couldn't find a way to generate anything. And 12 seconds into the game, David Pastrnak completely undresses Gostisbehere and gets a fantastic goal. Lucky, in fact, too, because it went off the stick of Ivan Provorov. That pairing of Provorov and Gostisbehere had a terrible game. They had a terrible game. Braun and Gustafsson, also a terrible game. Your best defensemen out there were Sanheim and Myers. They were. I still believe Phil Myers was your best defenseman on the ice tonight. He was. And just offensively, we couldn't do anything for the first 10 minutes. During the final stretch of the period, we found a way to get generate some chances. We did. Boston, they controlled. It was a snooze fest, the first period. It was a complete snooze fest, but somehow the shots were even. Somehow the shot totals were 8-8. Yeah, the Flyers were getting back defensively. They were preventing most shots from Boston. But it still felt like Boston was controlling majority of the pace. It did. Second period, there was a little bit of a different jump. A little bit. Flyers had a little more jump in their game. Boston had a little bit back and forth as well. And then one thing that absolutely frustrates me is when the Flyers score the goal. It does. Because why can't they do that more consistently? Because we know this team can do it. They have the ability to do it. For some reason, I just don't know why the first so many minutes of the game, you look completely lost and you couldn't make plays like this. Like, they couldn't even make a simple pass. That's how bad it was in the beginning. It was. And I know people are taking way too many... There's like 2 extreme sides of this game. One thinking that going off of that first period, the game was totally unwatchable and it was a pathetic performance. And yes, it was. But some of the other people that are saying the other extreme is that the Flyers didn't play that bad of a game and, they lost because of the penalty kill. But there's so many things you can talk about in this game. Way too many. So Kevin Hayes, he ties the game. Great passing feed from Sanheim and Myers. They find the open Kevin Hayes. It gets lucky because it goes off Raskolov. 1-1. Flyers got a power play. Boston got a power play as well. They couldn't generate anything on those plays. Go into the third period. Boston had a power play going into it. The Flyers killed it off early. JVR with a great forecheck, and he forces a puck to be turned over. Nolan Patrick and Sanheim, they find each other. They also find Jake Voracek, who's wide open in front of the net, buries it into the open net 2-1. Flyers, they look like they're generating the pace of play even more. And honestly, this was a questionable play, but also turned out to be a smart decision by Carter Hart. It was originally going to be an icing by Boston. Carter Hart elects to come out of the net. He uses the boards, gets the puck out. JVR forces another turnover, and it goes the other way. Lawton 2-on-1 with Farabee. Gives it over to Farabee, bombs it into the net. 3-1 Flyers. And this is when not too long after the shit show happens. The dreaded shit show, which was the first penalty, which led Boston to come back into this game. The first penalty. A very stupid penalty by Nicolas Aube-Kubel, which was a closing the hand on the puck. And Boston didn't take that long to score on it. They took mere seconds. Mere seconds, and it's David Pastrnak with a wide open net. Wide open net. Provorov and Sanheim, they try to go to the guy that's holding the puck behind the net. Allows Bergeron to be wide open, which allows Pastrnak to be wide open, and he bears it right by Carter Hart. And then it didn't look like it stressed the Flyers out that much. There were plays for Boston in the offensive zone. There were plays for the Flyers in the offensive zone. Boston, they elect to pull the goalie once again. And they also, Kevin Hayes forechecking in the offensive zone. He takes a penalty. A hooking penalty on Brad Marchand. I know a lot of people are saying that was a very weak call. It was an obvious hook. When you get the loose arm around a player and you tuck, it's going to be called. It's going to be called 100%. It was a penalty. It was. It was a stupid penalty to take because how many times did the Flyers take an offensive zone penalty this season? Way too many. Way too many. And you know why? Actually, that penalty kill wasn't that bad. Well, at first, the penalty kill wasn't that bad. The Flyers were getting the puck out of the zone, and Boston did pull the goalie, and the Flyers had chances to put it in the empty net. Lawton had a chance. Lindblom had a chance. They couldn't bury it. They couldn't. Farabee almost had a chance. He redirected it off the boards. It just missed by going off, like barely grazing the post. And then Boston, they were able to call a timeout. They were able to get the puck into the zone. A shot from the point, and the puck is bouncing. It's going off things. It goes off Carter Hart, and then Bergeron finds a way to give it to David Pastrnak. Marchand actually finds a way to get it to Pastrnak, who's once again in the same spot on the left side, wide open. And he buries it behind Carter Hart. Very unlucky play. The puck is bouncing everywhere, and it's a tie game with, I would say 15 seconds left in the game. And then, the dumbest penalty of all. The dumbest penalty. Literally right after the face-off. Right after the face-off. Scott Lawton, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? I can't even emphasize it anymore. Maybe I need to be more dramatic. What the fuck are you doing, Scott Lawton? Because I don't know. Literally, the guy just goes to try to dump the puck into the zone. And then you bury him when he's nowhere close to the puck? What is the thought process? It's stupidity. It is stupidity of what we're doing. Nicolas Aube-Kubel, stupidity of closing your hand on the puck. Kevin Hayes, stupidity taking a penalty in the offensive zone. Scott Lawton, complete stupidity, taking a penalty with 7 seconds left in the period. And then it doesn't take long for Boston to score, win the faceoff, bring the puck into the zone, set up, shot goes onto the net. Bergeron's basically there in front of Carter Hart, goes off of Hart. Bergeron gets the rebound. Provorov can't lift this stick, and Bergeron buries it. And that's how the game ends. This was an embarrassment. And like I said, honestly, I think the Flyers needed to lose this game. I think they did. They needed to lose this game. Because, one, you blew another 2-goal lead. Something that was way too common in the past couple of games. Blowing way too many 2-goal leads. Penalties. Do I have to emphasize even more? Penalties? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand the thought process on how you broke down like that. I just don't. This team needed a wake-up call, and I hope this is the game. I hope this is the game where it's a wake-up call. I hope AV is literally just throwing all the trash cans around in the locker room, screaming at every single one person in that room, besides Carter Hart because it wasn't his fault, but literally screaming at every single person in that locker room because what the fuck was that performance? Like I said, that ended the game. I can't take any positives away. I cannot. Because that's how bad it was the way it ended. Complete stupidity. Complete stupidity. To take 3 penalties in the final 10 minutes of the period, which allowed Boston to tie it and win the game. 3 penalties, and they scored on all 3 of those power plays. All 3. All 3. A helpless Carter Hart. I feel bad for the guy. I do. And a lot of the times, too, even during this game, it looked like our defense was so afraid to move the puck. So afraid. And also, that's granted, maybe sometimes the forwards, they don't come back and help them, so they give enough room for the defense. It's both sides. It's both sides not communicating, not using just the simplistic things. Being simple, communicating, not being stupid. Stupidity which allows you to take 3 penalties at the end of the game. 3. I can't emphasize that much more. You took 3 goddamn penalties at the end of the game. This loss better sting, and it better sting deep for these guys. Because you came out poor tonight. Okay, you had a good middle of the game. You had a good middle of the second period to the middle of the third period. The beginning of the game and the end of the game were a complete disaster. They were. And this needs to be a wake-up call for this goddamn team. Because, 1, they couldn't keep winning like this. They just couldn't. You're 7-2-2 now on the season. I know it's weird saying because you're 7-2-2 you need a wake-up call. This team has been playing sloppy hockey since the first game of the season. They need a wake-up call. You cannot keep winning like this. And like I said, maybe they had to lose this game to, wake up in their little brains. Wake up a little bit. Look at the tape. Look and see how the stupid penalties you took in this game cost you. Because, you made the mistakes against the Devils. It didn't cost you. You made the mistakes against the Islanders. It didn't cost you because you won those games in overtime. You're not going to be able to make mistakes against the Bruins. Because look at what they did today. They made you pay. And even the last time you played the Bruins, all those mistakes that you made. You lost 6-1 in one of those games, and you lost in the shootout in the other game. They made you pay in that game for those mistakes. And they made you pay in this one. So that's 3 embarrassing losses in a row to the Boston Bruins? 3 embarrassing losses? And you play this team again on Friday? So either we're going to be seeing the same nonsense, the same mistakes continuing to happen, or a fire lit under every guy's ass on this team. Every single guy. Because I can point out so many players on this team that had a terrible game. So many. Because I only saw quite a few that had a decent game. JVR, still the guy that's the leader of the offense right now. He's making plays out of nothing, and he's allowing people... Joel Farabee had a great game. I was going to say the entire Lawton line had a great game until Lawton took that terrible penalty. I definitely was. Nicholas Aube-Kubel, a terrible game. Terrible game. Jake Voracek had a decent game. Provorov, Gostisbehere, terrible games, both of them. They both sucked tonight. They both looked lost. Justin Braun, Eric Gustafsson sucked. And I know you benched Hay coming into this game because he was playing poor. But putting Gustafsson isn't even better. It's not. And please, for the love of God, can we set Justin Braun? Can we please bench Braun? Because he sucks. Justin Braun is a terrible defenseman. It needs to happen. A wake-up call needs to happen for this team. And no, it's weird saying you need a wake-up call when you're 7-2-2. But like I said, every game they have played this season has been outrageously sloppy. Outrageously sloppy, and they've gotten wins from it. Yes, they have. They have gotten wins from it. But maybe they needed to lose this game. Maybe they needed to lose this game in order to look at themselves in the mirror. Because you shouldn't have lost this game. You were up 3-1 in the final 10 minutes of the period. You needed to find a way to close that game out. And you took 3 penalties. 3 penalties. Which allowed Boston to win the game. There's nothing else to say. There just isn't. This team needs to wake up. It's a wake-up call. It's embarrassing. It's disgraceful how you lost like that. And a lot needs to happen. A lot needs to happen because you're not going to continue getting away with these mistakes against teams like Boston and the Capitals. You can continue to get away with mistakes like this against the Devils. You can maybe do it against the Islanders. Not Boston and the Capitals. Those teams are way better than that. And they're going to make you pay. And Boston has already done it to us for 3 games this season. Wake up. Wake the fuck up. And be better. Because we all know you're better than this. We all know you're a better team than this. I'm literally sounding like we're winless on the season. It's funny to think about that when you're 7-2-2. But they need a wake-up call. They desperately need a wake-up call. So, I think that's going to do it for this video. What are your thoughts on this game? I know it definitely pissed you off. The 3 penalties at the end of the game. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions, so don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I am a part of. We had our Flyers watch party, so you can definitely see my agonizing pain at the end of that game. Definitely pure entertainment. So don't forget to check out the Painted Lines. Their link will be in the description below. Don't forget to check out the Florida Podcast merchandise website. That link will also be in the description below. Thank you for tuning into this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.